Hour of trade. We have Mitessh Thakkar joining us for that. Mitessh, hi, good afternoon. So, big decline, but there's been some decent recoveries from the 200 DMA. Your thoughts on index and your stock calls?
Good afternoon, Anuj. I think that was a level which I was highlighting in the morning that, that's possibly an area where you would want to cover your shorts and then at least partly and then, trail your stop loss very tight to the current market price. I think that bounce back has happened. My worry is that the structure hasn't improved despite the bounce back. I think, one, you have the gap which was created today morning still remaining over there. Most of the intraday indicators are still trending on the south side. So which means that, eventually if there will be bounces, they'll get sold into. So the idea is that now either you want to go short afresh once we break today's low, which is the 200 average, or you get closer to about 17,350, 400 zone. And I think that's an area where I would be aggressive in shorting slightly. But till then, I think trading with some stock-specific biases. I have a buy on UBL that's showing a good pattern on the daily and the hourly charts. So keep a stop below 1650 here, look for targets of 1720. And a sell on Godrej Consumer, which is breaking down. That's a sell with a stop just placed just above levels of 887 and look for targets of around 850 to about 845 on the downside.
Okay, all right. By the way, there's some massive news that's coming for you on the screen. We're getting some clarification on Power Grid. The Finance Ministry has said that that there's no proposal of Power Grid buying PFC's stake in REC. Remember, this was the big overhang for the last couple of days. So as of now, that's what we're getting. And the Power Ministry will clarify on this shortly. Remember, a couple of brokerages, they were getting a little bit skittish because otherwise, Power Grid management has been more or less independent. There's going to be huge cash outflow if that happens, which could reduce their dividend yield. And it's an unrelated business. So because of that clarification that's coming in there, we're seeing a bit of a bounce from the low point of the day. Just to update our viewers, in the last two trading sessions, I think the stock has lost close to around 20% of the market cap. Today's day's low as well was less than 190 rupees. Now it's seeing a bit of a bounce post that clarification. We'll have to wait by to see how this one develops. But for the time being, the street is taking that very, very positively on the back of this clarification that's coming in there from the Finance Minister. I guess that's the reason why the stock has almost moved into the green, actually. Big bounce is what we're seeing in the last few minutes.
Low today was 186, which was made, it was a gap, that was the gap up low along with the broader market. And it had come up quite sharply to about 195, and now it's come into the green. So, yeah. That's a big bounce, big sort of reversal that we've had with this clarification, which is now coming through. So clarity now, at least, this fear is out of the window. Dilip Bhatt is with us, Joint Managing Director at Prabhudas Lilladher. Dilip, great to have you with us here. Thank you very much. Any thoughts on Power Grid, if you want to offer? Or tell us a little bit about what you think market levels we are going to see. The mood has soured a little bit here in India as well. Do you think the sort of much seen bounce will appear and the market kind of ignores what's happening globally, or this time we are headed into a bit of a rough patch? What's your sense?
Good afternoon, Prashant. I think a couple of things. First, on Power Grid, I think at the end of it, on an Excel sheet, one can say that it's going to impact Power Grid so much, or it may not impact so much. And that is why the price has got corrected. But I think the larger message out over here is that will the PSUs continue to be a hostage to the whims and fancies of the bureaucrats? I think that is the much bigger story to be answered. And that happens time and again when we talk about PSUs, particularly when the PSUs are looking so good. We must say that this government has done everything possible to build a very strong confidence in the PSUs. So I think that should not be frittered away by some bureaucrat taking a decision here and there. And one should be a little more careful on that front. I think that is the much larger message on what's happening in Power Grid or PFC or REC. Coming to the markets, I think as what you very rightly said, it's the dollar index vis-a-vis the rupee depreciation, vis-a-vis the interest rates. I think all these are really playing havoc, and one doesn't really know where it's going to settle. I think too many moving parts, too many things in a flux. So I think all that is really playing out. And at a time when Indian markets on a relative basis are expensive and not very cheap, to put it a little more in a better way. So I think all that is certainly going to have its impact on the markets. And I think possibly we will be a part of that itself without any doubt. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. All right, we'll come back to you, Dilip, once you get that sorted out. By the way, for the time being, a little bit of a bounce is what we saw on the index. But